All right, welcome back once again, everybody. This is Chad Jordan, Director of Marketing for Digital Services at Sport Clips, and this is the Sport Clips Hall of Fame podcast. And the episode that we're going to do today is going to be in a series of episodes that we'll be releasing throughout the coming months, and I'm calling these the Secret of My Success series. And it's really talking about people that have found a great success at Sport Clips, how they started, how they got here. And our guest today certainly fits that bill. So why don't I have her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about everything going on in your neck of the woods.
Well, I'm Traci Carter. I am from North Carolina. I've been with Sport Clips for about 11 years, maybe 12 at this time. It just time flies. So I am the area coach. I'm also the director of training and operations. What that means is I'm going to support any team leader, any manager on anything they need.
And you said you're from North Carolina, but I'm not picking up that North Carolina drawl. What's going on? Have you gone to finishing school, or what's happening? Where did you lose the accent?
That is so funny. So I have been in North Carolina since 1981. But when I was in first grade, my grandmother taught me English, but my grandmother was German.
Whoa.
So I had to go through speech therapy class for 3 years.
To pronounce the V's and the W's
correctly. The V's and the W,
yeah,
absolutely. So, so I don't sound like I'm from anywhere. It's so funny. People say, you sound like you're from Boston. Nope, not that.
No, I was telling you this off air. Great radio voice. I mean, you could have a second career here, moonlighting and doing stuff on the radio. But so you gave me a little glimpse at what's going on. So tell me how you came into Sport Clips. What kind of your background was prior to that? You said 11 or 12 years now, but
yeah. Well, so I worked at another company, and I looked around, and I'm thinking, do I really fit in this company anymore? And it was a great place. I was with that company for about 13 years. I just got done with a hair show. I was the director of training for that company, and I wanted just to stay home. I was on an airplane every week. And then I realized, who's raising my kids?
How many kids you got?
I have 3 kids and 2 grandkids now.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had asked for a sign. I'm ready for a change, and it was incredible because a man named Matt Lewis called me, and it was funny because I just got done with a hair show in Chicago. I'm sitting out in the back on a bench feeling sorry for myself, going, oh, I don't want to be here. I want to be home. And when he called me, he's like, hey, have you ever heard of Sport Clips?
Now, how does Matt call you? Was he just dialing numbers and it happened to hit your phone?
Well, the story is that the company I worked at just sold a big market to another company. So one of the people on my team of educators was looking for a job. And so her name is Karen. Karen was interviewing with Sport Clips. And then she ended up getting a job with Redken going to Texas. And I was mentioning to Karen, I said, Karen, I'm ready for a change. Just keep me in mind. And
I just want to interject quickly. What were you doing in this role that you were traveling so much for again?
I was the director of training for the entire company. So there was 1,000 hair salons.
Okay, so it wasn't like you were in one location managing a store or anything like that. Okay.
No, I was. I had 27, 30 full-time trainers and 100 part-time trainers, a big company.
Okay.
So I'm traveling the state. It's a very glamorous job. Everyone's like, oh, wow, that sounds amazing. And it was. But I just needed to be home.
Yeah. How old are your kids at that time?
Well, I had one still in diapers and one at 2, and then I had a teenager. So,
Geesh, you had the span going there. Okay.
Yeah, it was nice, but I'm like, it's time. It's time for me to change. And it's funny because when you're ready for a change will happen.
Yep.
It really will. So she texted me and said, hey, some guy named Matt's gonna call you. Within 20 minutes, Matt called me. And he said, hey, Karen mentioned you during the interview. When we were interviewing her, he asked her, who's your mentor? And Karen told Matt about me, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so when Matt apparently offered the job to Karen, and she's like, well, I'm going to Redken, I'm taking off, but I know a girl who would be perfect.
And she already plugged you, not knowing that, it was going to be a perfect fit.
So I met Matt and Cardi in a little town, Pinehurst, at a hotel, lobby.
Yeah.
And I looked at these two guys and said, you know what? The values that this company has is in alignment of what I wanted. And I took a big leap of faith because at that time I had a big position, I had a big role and everything. And then at this point, they only had 23 stores in North Carolina, I believe. And so
this is a 2008, 2007?
2007. Yeah, 2007. And so
kind of emerging market.
I jumped in with both feet, and I'm like, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for a change. And staying in just North Carolina, traveling through the state, and it's a beautiful place. I said, yeah, I'm 2 feet in.
And the role was as a technical coach or
area coach,
or
the director of training and operation, because I came with so much background already on the technical side and how to run a business. I helped Matt work with his business and work with the team leaders and work with the managers and build this the state to where it is today.
Yeah, so give me what are some of the things that you've seen over the last 11, 12 years, the big changes, the shifts that you've seen?
Well, we tripled in size, for one.
Great market and great resources here.
The culture, I think, is the biggest thing, is how do we want to treat our people? My vision is be the preferred employer.
Yeah.
Be where people want to be. Be the company that people want to work in and treat your people well. That's the big thing.
And what have been, because you had a career before Sport Clips and now you're here, what are some of the major challenges that you've had to experience and maybe ways that you guys as a team have overcome them?
Challenges. There's a bunch of challenges, but then once we overcome it, we keep moving forward. One of the biggest things, I think, it was the mindset of what's going to be successful. And it's not the numbers, it's the people. And working with team leaders that only looked at the numbers and then looked at the people, that was a problem. We're not there anymore. We definitely take a look at who are our leaders, how do they inspire growth, how do they inspire their other stylists. And when you have happy stylists, you have happy clients.
Yeah.
And when you have happy clients, you have happy team leaders.
Yes.
So it's changing the mindset of what does success look like.
How do you go about changing that culture where the team leaders don't look at just the numbers, but the people? Is it case studies? Do you have to demonstrate it first, or do you just say trust us and they follow along? What did that look like for you guys?
Well, first of all, it's baby steps. You can't turn a cruiser, like I think of a cruise ship. You can't turn it 180 degrees overnight. It takes a while. You cannot lead where you don't go. You have to model the way. And when you model the way of what it could be, you can inspire others. Always being mindful of where we want to be. Don't lose vision of what you want. And in every conversation and every opportunity that you have to be in front of people, you send that message out. You are the message. Yeah.
So that fits perfectly into the segue of where I'm heading here is we kind of buried the lead. What's going on at NC 104? Is it NC 104? Am I getting the number right?
NC 104, yeah, Matthews.
All right, and that store has an interesting team leader story. Can you give me a little bit of that?
Absolutely. So several years back, I went to Matt and Cardi and said, hey, I want my own store. And they said, hey, you can't have one. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And so they said, here's the thing. You're an area coach, and coaches aren't allowed to have a store. And I'm like, well, that makes no sense to me. If I want to buy a store, if I want to invest in this company, why not? And so they went back to Gordon and said, hey, why not? And Gordon's like, hey, I think that's a great idea. She's modeled the way. She's been here. Let's lever.
It just had never been done before.
It's never been done before.
So there wasn't really a rule against it.
Right.
Just it hadn't happened yet.
What? You're telling me a coach wants to buy a store and pay all the fees and do everything a team leader does? Absolutely.
And so you go through, did you have to go through team leader training camp and all of that stuff? Did they at one point, did they turn to you and say, hey, do you want to teach this stuff?
Actually, it was so funny because during the the discovery day, they kept on referring back to me, and I felt like I would love to help you guys, but I'm really in the audience. I really need to sit here.
And what year did all this take place that you
I
transitioned to also being a team leader?
Well, I got approval, and one of the things that I liked is that Matt and Cardi went to my team leaders because I'm their coach, and even though we have other coaches in this market, I'm leading the coaches, and I wanted to make sure that they were absolutely okay.
Oh, so when
supportive.
you say, okay, let me back up. When you say they went to your team leaders, you meant for you being a coach, they went to your group of team leaders to say, here's how this might look and might work out.
Matt and Cardi went and had a conversation with them, say, hey, you guys give it 2 thumbs up. And they said, absolutely, yes. Why not? So it's not a conflict, and I am a team leader, and I am their coach, and we all work together. So
you literally have almost every hat that I can think of. You're putting it on and being able. So, can you explain to me how that unique approach helps or hinders in all those areas?
Well, I always think of it this way. When I first came on board with Sport Clips, a lot of the times what I've heard team leaders say is like, the stylists don't understand me. My manager doesn't understand me. And then I hear the manager saying, my team leader just doesn't get me.
Yeah.
And so both in my brain, I get both sides. I am the operational person. I know what it's like to run a business. I am a stylist, and I know what it's like to work behind the chair. It is about using a language we can both understand and respect. So I think that's what makes it successful, because I get it.
So, anybody beating down your door to write a book on how to cross both channels there and explain to managers what's going through a team leader's mind, and team leaders what's going through a manager or a stylist's mind? Do you really feel like you're able to straddle that and kind of get in the minds of both?
Well, I've done it, so I think I could. I'm hoping I could. One of the things we do in MTC and LTC is we talk about communication.
And those stand for?
Manager Training Camp and Leadership Training Camp.
Okay, thank you.
So when I work with the team leaders, I do scenarios that help them have conversations with their leaders, their managers. I call them leaders. Same thing goes with the managers. When they say, I really have a hard time making my point with a team leader, we role play it. We talk about it. And what's important to the team leader? Ask that question. What's important to your manager, your leader? Ask those questions. So
I love this angle, and I'm not throwing anything out there yet because I literally am just thinking through this myself right now. But just the wealth of knowledge that someone in your position has, like you said, being able to think through like both because you're experiencing both. What a resource that is. We might have to figure out a way to tap into that even better and leverage that across 1,800 plus stores in 50 states.
Well, I'm going to pencil you in from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Okay,
That's my free time.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
No, but all kidding aside, I'll be happy to help. It is an honor, and I love what I do. I love what I do.
Well, it's certainly one of the reasons I wanted you on A Secret of My Success episode, because I think your story is captivating, and for you to be where you're at now, the sky's the limit. The sky's always been the limit.
Yeah.
You're just experiencing a new stratosphere. So anything else you want to add before I get to, I got 10 surprise questions over here that I want to ask, but anything that I didn't unearth in a question that you want to make sure that you get out in your story?
Well, one of the things is that, like I said before, you cannot lead where you don't go. And as a coach, we teach the process and the systems, and we model the way. When I bought the store, and it was an existing store, it was a cute little store, tiny little thing. It was sitting around doing $5,000-$6,000, maybe $6,000 every week. So it was small. No one could do anything with it. Oh, it's going to be the best it could be right now. The team leader prior, I think he was just satisfied with what it was doing. When my husband and I bought this together in January, and now we're looking in November, we're up 15-18%.
Wow.
The staff's on fire in a good way. They love it. They love it. and we have active mutual support. We're following the culture that we want everyone to see, and so it's possible. If you can believe it, it is possible.
How often are you in your store?
Maybe once a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not taking up all of your time being in the one location.
No,
You're still.
It's the 10 hours a week on average. I'm working on my business, not in my business. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And what a great year, 2018.
Yeah.
Congratulations on
Thank
all that.
you.
Here, I got to get to these 10 questions.
Let's do it.
If you don't mind.
Let's do it.
You're so fun. I know you're going to have some cool answers here. So these are 10 questions. I don't ask follow-ups to them.
Okay.
I might comment on them, but I won't ask another
Okay.
question. So number one, which superpower would you most like to have?
Oh, wow. This is funny because my kids always ask me this question, and it changes. I would like, if I had a superpower, I would like to be, this is tough. I would think that I could read people's minds, but I don't know if I want to do that.
You might not like.
I don't know
what
if I
you
want to do
find
that. I think a superpower is maybe to live forever.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I like to live forever.
Are there any heroes that, Superman, I don't know.
Maybe a vampire. If a vampire was a
Whoa, wow.
superhero,
Okay.
No, a good vampire.
Okay, yeah.
Not a
the
bad
good
one.
kind. Yeah. There's lots of good
I
vampires
just love life, and I
out
don't want to
there.
give it up.
Good. Number two,
Yes.
what is your personal motto?
Always grow. Be green. Be willing to grow.
Number three, other than where you live now, where else in the world would you most like to live?
I visited Seattle. I'd go to Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Seattle.
I know it rains, but hey, it's green.
I mean, shoot, from April to September, there's probably not a better place to be. You're right.
Yeah.
Who is the celebrity you would most like to meet one day?
Oprah Winfrey.
Ah, cool. Yeah. Which words or phrases do you most overuse?
Words or phrases I overuse. Probably my often quotes. The one who does the work does the learning. I know they're tired of hearing it.
Does the work, does the learning. What sound or noise do you love?
What sound or noise that I love? Listening to my kids running down the steps when I come home.
Cool. Yeah, that's sweet. What sound or noise do you hate?
I don't really hate. What do I dislike? You know what I don't like? I don't like the sound of the ice maker when you put the cup in the ice maker. Yeah. That's very agitating.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't like that sound.
They need to make a quieter version
Yes.
of that. I agree. What profession other than your own would you have been good at or at least have wanted to try?
I've been told that I would have been, if I wasn't a hairdresser, that I would have been a very good attorney, a prosecuting attorney.
I'm laughing because you were talking about mind reader. I was thinking about that answer and how many hairdressers say that.
Really?
That it was either they'd been good at being an attorney or anyways.
Yeah.
It's so funny how you guys are wired. It's amazing. What do you consider your greatest achievement?
My children.
Oh, sweet. Even after we're talking about secret of your success
Yes,
being
my children.
this becoming a team leader and all that. I love it. Lastly, if heaven indeed exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well done.
Yes, I love that answer. Well, Traci, you've been tremendous. Thank you so much for joining us and for this just great career and obviously the great year you've had at 2018. So I say to infinity and beyond.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.